closer T-top to the kid.
Well, in those cases.
Can you move that podium back a little bit so I can see Gordon a little bit better?
They're gonna hurt.
They're not gonna use that, are they?
Yeah,
Oh,
they can if
Yeah.
there's somebody else to come in.
Oh.
My nephew's a special ed teacher. Yeah,
It doesn't go well.
no, they need consistency, huge.
Would you partially open those two drapes right there? There's a big white strip
The
there.
screen, it's gonna affect the screen.
I'm sorry?
You wanna keep it dark so you can see the screen.
Okay.
That's the reason that's.
It washes out from the light on the TV.
Okay, very good.
I'm gonna turn the audio on.
So are we gonna shut the lights off, Bill, or no?
Yeah, when you're ready for your presentation, we'll turn off the front part of the light,
Okay.
whenever you're ready.
Somebody wanna test an audio, make sure. that-
Hello, can you hear me?
Good.
Calling
Yeah, when you're ready for a presentation.
a special board meeting for the budget of March 23rd, 20 at 9:30 in the small hallway. Stand for the invocation of pledge of allegiance.
Heavenly Father, as we gather here today to conduct this business for Trader Estates, we ask for thy divine guidance and divine protection in this crucial time. We ask this in thy name. Amen. Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mary Chandler.
Here.
Lori Dalton. Here. Gordon Melton.
Here.
Pete Price.
Here.
Sandy Simonich.
Here.
Mike Sansoni.
Here.
Dwayne Trotter.
Here. The meeting today is on a public hearing on the 2021 budget, and is only on that item solely. With that, I'll turn it over to Mary Chandler.
Okay, for those of you at home, I'm going to be going through a PowerPoint presentation about the budget. For those of you in the large hall, there was a one-page handout that recaps everything that's contained in this presentation. That is the exhibit that will be mailed to every property owner if it ends up being the one that we ratify today. If not, an adjusted one will be mailed out. So, let's see. First, I want to go over income. Some of the items that we have for income is the investment income on our money market funds that we have with Iberia Bank. We have other sources of income related to social activities, the money that everybody graciously pays at the door for showtime, the people who attend our Saturday night dances from outside the park, the tickets for the New Year's Eve, ticket sales for coffee break, and last summer, and I believe hopefully going forward, we're going to have a luau, and tickets were sold for that, and that was the money that was taken in for that. So social activities currently brings in about $16,500 a year. Our application income, the $50 that everybody pays for their application adds up to another $13,250. And then miscellaneous income of $10,600. What is included in that is a number of things. It's the fobs, the renters who pay $75 for a fob and get $50 back when they return the fob. There's some, we often get a rebate on our medical insurance because of low claims. And we, when we mow people's lawns and we invoice for that, that's in there. There's a number of things that make up the miscellaneous income item. In addition to these items, we get money from facility rentals. We rent the Marina building, the post office, the laundry space, and there's some space for the church to use. This includes a 5% increase at their next contract renewal. The laundromat right now is the income from that is based on the amount of money taken in at the machines, and we get 50% of what is taken in on the machines. I'm going to be renegotiating that contract when it comes up for renewal for a flat monthly rent versus a percent, so we can have some standard income with that line item. Next, we have income from marina slip rentals, and here I've broken out the slip rentals between the owners and the non-owners. Currently, we have 80 of our slips are occupied by owners, and the current rent for those slips by size is listed in the first column, and that represents 25% of what a non-owner would pay for that same slip size. I'm proposing that that increase move to 33% of what a non-resident would pay for that slip size. This time only, that does represent a 39% increase, but going forward, it will only go up an additional 5% every year thereafter, as will all of our income generating items. For non-owners, we have 25 slips occupied by non-owners, and you can see the current rate and the proposed increase, which represents the 5%. Right now, I made a note that 46% of our expected income is derived from 24% of our slips, so we definitely benefit from our non-owners and the rent that they bring in for our slips. Along with that, we're proposing an increase in the storage lot rental income. So right now, the monthly cost ranges anywhere from $20.83 to $30 a month. And it's going to go up to $30 or $35 a month. For the largest slip, that's about $60. So if you look at the largest boat slip, the 30-foot slip going from $540 to $750, that was $210 increase. And if you keep your trailer in our storage lot, that's another $60. That's $270, which equates to $22.50 a month. So to recap the income, these are all of the items that are previously recorded on the other slide. I've added the kayak income for the change we made to that. And at $1,300 per home, the expected assessment income, which will give us a total of $1.8 million of income that we can now apply to our expense needs. Any questions in the room here about income before I go on to expenses, Gordon?
On the storage lot rental income,
Yep.
looking up at the top part of that, it says suggested increase of $30 on the 6 month, but I see a $60 difference between the current annual cost and the ending annual cost.
Oh, so it's going up $5 a month, so it's going from 300 to 360, because it's going from 25 a month to 300 a month. So $30, I mean, times 12 is 360.
Right, but it's a $60 increase.
So the suggested increase is per month.
It's per month, yes. So
Oh.
it's $5 per month, going from 25 to 30. I didn't have per month up
But it
there.
says suggested increase is $30. It's actually $60.
The suggested increase is going from $25 a month to $30 a month, moving the cost from $300 a year to $360 a year.
I think where the confusion comes in is the suggested increase is per month.
It is per
No,
month.
it's for the 6 months, I believe. It's,
No, the
annual-
the annual is 300, the suggested increase is $30, it's actually $30 per month. When you take it times 6 months, it's $360, it's $60 increase over 6 months, which
Yes,
is $5, no,
yes.
$10 per month.
Oh, no, it's,
Yeah, annually, I'm sorry, yearly,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yearly.
isn't it $300 current? Is that for the 6 month cost or for the annual cost on the 6 month lease?
It looks like I've annualized it there. At $25 a month, that's going to be 250. Yeah, that's an annual of $25 a month. So
Okay,
it's going up $5 a month.
right.
So you're right, for annual, if you keep it there for the full year, it's going to be $60. If you keep it there for 6 months, it's going to be $30.
So since they're annualized, then I believe the suggested increase column should be annualized as well. Or else make them 6 month costs.
I think the only thing that's probably not accurately reflected is the annual cost. Because, well, it is annual cost. If you have 2 6-month leases, will be $360 if you keep it for
So
the
the
full year.
increase is $60 annually, not
Correct.
30. So that's what I'm suggesting. It would be easier to follow the numbers if the suggested increase was
Yep.
annualized just like the other.
Yep. This exhibit that I'm walking through right now is just for the purposes of explaining the budget increases. The 59,460 is not going to change as far as what I expect to get in per year.
Right, yeah,
So-
I understand that.
Okay.
It's more the semantics of
Yep,
accurately portraying what, and for people to understand.
Yep.
On the fifth line there, where it starts at 360, it says the suggested increase is 35.
so $5 a month again.
But I can't get to 420. Which is
60
at
plus
35.
360, so if you've got an increase of 30 to 35, $5 a month times 12 months is $60. 360 plus 60 is 420.
Okay, but it says $35 in the suggested increase.
It's the same as the one below. It's a monthly increase of $5 a month or $60 a year. So if it was $360, it's now going to be $420. It's still $60 a year, $5 a month. I should have put suggested monthly cost.
Well, how does where does the $35 come from? Should that be 30?
No, because it's 30 now, so I'm increasing it from 30 to 35. I'm increasing them all $5 pretty much
Per month.
per month.
So 12 times 5
Is $60.
is $60.
So if you were paying $360 a year, now you're paying $420 a year.
But if the increase is $35 on
The
6
monthly-
months.
The increase is $5 a month. I'm
Okay,
moving it from
look
30
at the
to
numbers that you
35.
have on the sheet, please.
I'm looking at the numbers.
You've got a $35 suggested increase. You don't have $5 on there anywhere.
But I've explained already 6
And
times,
30.
that column should have said suggested monthly cost, so that you could see that the increase is $5 a month. I had a column heading that could have been more explanatory of what it is, and maybe an additional column that showed that 35 minus 30 is $5 a month. I mean, but it's $5 a month. So if you were originally paying $360, you're now paying $420, it's $60 more a year. And that's going to be the same for the block below. So it's consistent on the exhibit. The suggested increase is the new monthly cost for an increase of pretty much across the board $5.
Does the same apply to the series below?
Yes. Same thing. We're moving those 400 series lots, which is the new storage space over here, to a flat $35 a month.
Well, I'm just concerned that the math doesn't flow across the tables the way it is.
We will agree that it doesn't.
You agree that it doesn't, Mike?
Well,
That the annual cost
the
doesn't
annual
reflect?
cost does, but it doesn't flow across in a way that's explanatory. That I understand what he's saying. I agree with what you're telling me is that it's only a $5 increase per month for a total of $60 per year. Correct?
Yes.
He's playing with semantics. I'm just looking at it from a standpoint of a person out there looking at this. As long as we can explain to them that it's a $5 per month increase over the previous cost, I think we're okay, and you can move on.
Okay. Any other questions with income before I move on to expenses?
Does the kayak rental reflect the increased rate?
Yes.
And that's not on the tables anywhere, is it?
Nope. We went over that. That's already into effect now. And we went over those tables at a prior meeting, so I didn't have an
We
exhibit for
increased
that.
that last meeting.
Right,
Yeah.
so what is the new rate just for?
It's $100.
$100 per year.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the income recap?
Okay.
Moving on.
Expenses, I've broken expenses out into 2 categories. The first group of expenses are the things that we really don't have a lot of flexibility with. Most of the increases are run rate type increases, historical trends. Our legal cost, our trash removal, we are in a contract with them and it is up for renewal next year and I am going to be looking at that contract. But for right now, that's what the current contract rate is. Insurance goes up every single year. Mostly our flood insurance goes up every single year. Utilities go up a small amount every year. Maintenance, we've actually got a much lower increase than we've had in the past. So that one we're keeping in a good place. Recreation, that's the expense portion of hiring the bands, hiring the entertainment, paying the instructors. All of that adds up to the $38,720. And then we have to have a CPA firm audit our books. We have administrative fees, office supplies. All of that adds up to the $47,800, which is, again, pretty much standard year over year. So the budget represents, all of these budget items represent a 2.5% increase over what we're projected to spend in the year that we're in right now, 2020. So mostly just inflationary increases. The second page, I'm sorry.
On the legal, do we
Yeah.
have a retainer, still have a retainer with Barnum's firm?
We do.
Is this in excess of the retainer or?
It is a little bit in excess of the retainer, yes. We have the monthly fee that we pay for him, and then other legal expenses, which right now I've budgeted for a lot of the same stuff we're dealing with right now to continue. You know, the issues with underage occupants, the issues with support animals, and unfortunately all the other issues that we've had to deal with. I'm assuming those aren't going to go away.
Currently, we have
Unfortunately.
3 court cases going,
Yeah.
2 court cases, pardon me,
Yeah.
2 court cases. The third one we're out of currently. We do have currently 2 court cases going.
Yeah. So I'm allowing us some flexibility that hopefully we won't have the volume of court cases and we'll have a budget savings in that account. Okay, so payroll. Right now, the current payroll budget for payroll, all taxes, all benefits, is a 3% increase over 2020. The Spectrum contract is the 5% contract increase. And I just wanted to point out that right now that equates to about $40 per home, which is significantly less than anybody would be paying for their own individual cable and internet service. So I still believe it to be a benefit to the residents here. Capital outlay is higher. It's been increased since the last board meeting. Dwayne, I moved that money for the small hall renovation in for you.
Thank you.
So right now, that's the only change. Everything else has been in all the previous discussions of capital outlay for a total of $106,740, bringing our total expenses to $1,717,24. Any questions on expenses from the room?
I didn't catch what you said was the thing added to the capital outlay.
The small hall ceiling tile replacement, light, sound, and air conditioning renovations, we had that split between 2 fiscal years. And we're going to just take care of it. Once we tear this room up and redo it, we're just going to do it all at once.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, so this is just kind of recapping. Right now, our fund balance at the beginning, our beginning fund balance as of 10/1/2019 was $658,577. With that, we've got $67,500 of the seawall accrual that we have to set aside, bringing us to an adjusted beginning balance of $591. This has changed in prior exhibits. That's because I've got the first preliminary audit report for that fiscal year, and I'm in the process of wrapping that up. I'm hoping to get that wrapped up in the next day or so. And then the budgeted income and expenses for the fiscal year we're living in right now shows us ending the year at a loss of $73,831. Bringing our beginning balance for the fiscal year that we're approving today to $517,246. We will need to set aside another accrual of $67,500 for the seawall for that. So we're going to be starting out the budget year that we're approving today with a fund balance of about $450,000. If we carry that forward, and we take out another year of accrual for the seawall, and then we add in the income expenses in the budget that we're discussing today. At the end of that fiscal year, we'll have a fund balance of $513,978, starting to get to where it needs to be with the increase that we're looking at today.
What's the magic number that it needs to be at, Mary? What?
That's what I was.
Yeah, it usually is around 600, in prior years,
Right.
it's been around 600,000. I'd like to see it at 750,000. I'd like it to be half of what our expenses are, or more. You know, so that if something should happen and we need to have a year's, you know, at least 6 months worth of expenses we can cover. That would be the goal I would like to see.
Okay.
At the end of the 2-year period here, we'll have 135,000 put aside for the seawall.
Yes,
Does that cover the needs to replace the
we need
seawall?
one more year accrual.
So another 67,000.
Will come out in the next one. And then on the following year, we'll have the money to pay for the seawall repair. So we're still a couple of years away from actually physically doing the repair.
So that'd be 200,000?
If I do my math.
I got 202,500.
For 2 years at 67.5 and 2 years at 67 is what we're,
Okay,
so 134, 268, 269. 269,000 will be available for the seawall repair. As it gets closer to that, we're going to need to get another estimate of what it's going to cost. And hopefully the 269 will cover it. If not, we may need to postpone it another year to accrue some additional funds for it. But right now, that's the estimate I was given, and that's the estimate we're accruing for.
When was the last time the seawall was fixed?
I have no idea.
Years.
It's been, yeah, I couldn't see it in any of the historical information.
Any other questions? With that, we'll take public comment. Anybody wishing to give public comment?
See if anyone's over there.
Good. Come on in.
Good morning. Dottie Deerwester, 1804, Ohio. Mary, first I want to thank you for all the work you've done with this budget. I know it's a huge task, and thank you for doing all of this. And I know it will continue. One recommendation, it's really strange watching from the other room and not being in here, and all of this whole thing is strange for everybody. But I would recommend that the slide show and the audio be placed on the website. People who are gone are not going to have access to channel 732. They will not be able to listen to it. And I think it's important information to have the details as you describe them in the line items. I understand that there will be a summary sheet mailed out, but that's not sufficient either. It really doesn't give the details as you describe it, of course. And so I recommend it be placed on the front page, not hidden somewhere else in the website, but on the front page, maybe name budget or something that will draw attention to it so people can actually listen to the discussion and read the line items. Thank you.
Am I allowed to respond? No, I'll have to wait, okay.
Sandra Tornva, 6905 West Bayou. It seems to me that if we have garbage pickup by Waste Management, and they will pick up almost anything. Why do we need to have dumpsters that are used primarily by contractors that may or may not live in the park? I know they're supposed to rent their own dumpsters if they do major renovations, but as I drive around the park, I very rarely see personal dumpsters. That would be a saving of about $100,000. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Denise Beauchamp, 1817 Ohio Avenue. I want to commend all of you for what you're doing. I have just recently looked into how everything works here. And one thing I've noticed is that, like this morning, I tried to figure out if there was going to be a meeting or not. It said all activities for the small and large hall were canceled. And yet the board meeting was still scheduled, but I wasn't sure because they were conflicting. And so I think communication between the board and the residents should be considered, or made better. As you know, I'm a candidate for the board, and I'm enjoying researching everything to figure out what goes on. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Nobody else?
That's it.
Okay.
With that, I'll close the public hearing.
Lori, today's meeting will be available on the website just like any other board meeting, correct?
Yes, it will be. It's taking a little bit longer as we're trying to go through using the camera as opposed to the computer to get it onto YouTube. But I understand with the new camera, that's going to be a smoother process, so I'm hoping smoother equates to faster. But what I'm hearing out of Dottie, though, is that it normally would come up on the website, and as soon as there's another meeting, it would get buried down in. They'd have to know the date of the budget hearing. And I'm hearing she wants a different pointer on the homepage. It's not going on the homepage. I might put it on the financial page that would point to that particular. Maybe it's just a statement that if you want to review it, go here, filter down to this date, and do it that way, as opposed to pointing in two different places. I'm not sure how I can do that, but yes, it'll automatically be on the website. Every meeting is.
Okay.
Is there any way of putting this on the website?
Yeah, it's going to be on
It's
the
going to be
website in
just
the
as I went
background.
through it with all my ongoing discussion. Yep.
Any other discussion?
I would like, if you're asking, can I put this on a financial page where somebody could click and just go through just this slide? Yes, I can. You just have to tell me you want me to do it,
Yes.
but I have to get a clean copy from Mary.
Can you give her a clean copy?
When you get a clean copy, Mary, can you fix that heading so it's clear?
Yes.
That
Clarifies
was my
it.
recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
we're in agreement. Any other discussion?
Well, other questions, you just want to talk about this?
Well, first, before we get to discussion, make a motion.
Well,
What?
I have to respond to public comment. I have two more
Yes.
public comments I'm going
Okay.
to respond to.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. The garbage pickup, yes, they'll pick up just about anything curbside. No, the savings won't be anything close to $100,000 if we get rid of the dumpsters. And to get rid of the dumpsters, we would have to allow for yard waste at the curbside. Right now, yard waste is not allowed at the curbside. So we would have to do that. We'd also have to have recycling at the curbside, which right now we don't. I'm not saying that, getting rid of the dumpsters isn't something we shouldn't consider. I'm going to be putting a number of different options on the table when I'm renegotiating the contract with Waste Pro. But I just want to make it clear that there would have to be some changes to curbside. What we're paying for curbside pickup would be more than what we're paying now with those changes. We won't even, even if we did nothing to change that, the savings is not even close to $100,000. So I want to make sure that people aren't thinking we can save that kind of money. That's it.
How about Denise's comment?
Communications, I don't,
That's
I mean,
partially,
that's not a budget issue, so I don't really have a lot, I just listen, and we need to.
okay. With that, I need a motion from you, Mary.
Okay, I make a motion that we ratify the 2021 budget as presented today.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion. Gordon?
I vaguely remember that we're required to adopt something by resolution rather than by motion. Was that the budget or was that the?
You're right, it is by resolution.
So I just need to change what do I need to do? I've never done anything but this. I think by passing it,
If I understand correctly, we pass it and then there's a resolution that TJ types up. and-
oh, Mike signs and it goes out,
I think
yes.
the motion should be to adopt the resolution approving the budget.
Can you reword that?
Okay, I make a motion that we adopt the resolution of the 2020-2021 budget as presented today.
You second that? Okay. Any further discussion? Wayne?
I agree with the entire budget, with the exception of the increase in boat slips and marina. I've heard a lot of comments from other boat owners. I'm now hearing that people are gonna start pulling their boats out. Other than that, that's the only complaint that I've really had about boat slip increases.
And Dwayne, I'm sorry, I brought that up at the last board meeting and asked, I wanted to push back on it. Nobody had any interest in pushing back on it. I really wished you would have said something then. It's not too late. I mean, we haven't approved the budget. I don't think it's too late, but I mean, that's the whole purpose of this hearing is to one final change.
Just when I see 39% increase versus say like a 25% increase, that, to me it's just exorbitant. For the worst case scenario for somebody that's got a 30-foot boat and the largest storage lot is $22.50 a month. So
I understand.
I don't know what a good amount is to make people not pull their boats out. How much of an increase? $20 a month.
What I'm looking at and what I'm seeing is a $269 cost for a seawall that's going to benefit them. Not going to benefit anybody else in this park but the boat owners. It benefits the park in a way. I agree, it does benefit the park.
Yes, it does.
But the primary persons that get the benefit of a seawall are those that have a boat in the marina. Now, granted, we can't show that they're actually paying for that, or that we're paying for it, or the park's residents are paying for it, but it's $269 of taxpayer money. If they pull their boat out of there, that's fine. I'm sure there are people on the outside that will gladly take those spots, because the cost, based on what's outside, this is reasonable. It's not unreasonable for them. Again, I don't profess to be a boat owner. I like boats, I like sailboats, but it's kind of hard to say that somebody who bought a boat somewhere between $25,000 and $75,000 is complaining about an increase for a boat slip. If they don't like what we're charging, they can go someplace else. I mean, I know I'm probably cutting my own throat, but that's part of the issue of that owning that boat. I mean, like I told people before, I'm more than willing to cut the fee altogether, increase the amount of revenue from the general fund to cover it, and then it's a free-for-all. And if they want a free-for-all, I'm all for it. You can respond.
You can take my head off, I don't care. I'm a big boy.
No,
I
it's
just,
just the size of the increase. You know, I think I've heard from not just the couple that have been coming to the microphones, but other people that I meet down at the boat marina, is that the increase is just too substantial. You know, it's nice to have the boat and all that stuff, but a 39% increase over 1 year. And we just increased it, what, 2 years ago? I can't remember. I think it was 2
I think
years
it
ago
was
that
at
we
least 2 years
increased it.
ago, might have been.
So I agree with the members that are the residents who come to the board and said, you know, we're jumping on their backs for owning a boat. But again, a 39% increase, well, it's better than the first increase that we proposed. You know, I gotta go that way. But again, I'm just echoing what I'm hearing from our residents with the boats.
I just did some quick math, so without my calculator, I'm hoping it's accurate, but the most expensive slip, the 30-foot slip, would go from $540 to $600 instead of $750 if we did a 25% increase year over year. The 26 would go to $550, the 24 would go to $540, so it's not a whole lot of difference between those, and the 20-foot would be $450. That would, I believe, like I said, if I did the math, is 25% increase over today's rate. I don't have the number with me today of how many people own each of those slip sizes to say what that equates to from a dollar perspective. But if we were to do that, the 30-foot slip at $600 for a $60 increase, and the storage lot is a $60 increase if they've got the largest one. Now we're talking $10 a month instead of $22.50 that each boat owner would have to absorb. The worst case scenario, they get the largest boat in the best storage lot.
Again, all I can do is echo what the residents are telling me, but again, I'm only one vote. So.
Yep. Do we need to do a straw vote on this only, or is it so that we can see where we are with this item only, and then we can decide if we're going to approve the budget with this change only, or not approve the budget? What are we going to do? I mean, I don't know what the right
I
thing is.
think it's essential that we pass the budget, I really do. But,
Well, are we going to pass the budget with an adjustment to this one line item or not?
I would have no objection to a compromise on that percentage of increase.
To the 25% that
25%.
Dwayne is recommending?
I agree.
Okay.
Gordon?
I think we could do this by making a motion to amend the motion that's on the table.
Let's take first take a straw vote. Are you in favor or not in favor?
Of reducing the increase.
39% back to 25%.
25%.
I'm in favor of the 25.
Lori?
I'm sorry, Scriven. I'm a yes, Dwayne, I take it you're a yes.
Yes.
Okay, now you can make a motion.
I just have to hear that.
Okay.
We have to hear from Mary. And-
Yeah, I would like to, oh God, let's see if I get this right. I'd like to revise my motion that
You
we,
wish to amend your
I wish to amend my motion
on the resolution.
on the resolution
Of the 2021 budget.
of the 2021 budget as discussed today to include the change in the boat slip rental income, moving the year-over-year increase from the current 39% down to 25%.
Will you second?
I'll say
Yeah,
so.
she
All right.
said.
Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Now back to the amended motion on the whole budget. Okay, what we have before
Oh,
us.
but that's not what we just did.
We amended the budget.
Okay, so you just approved the amendment.
Right.
Now we're going to vote on the budget.
We're going to vote on the amended budget
Okay.
resolution.
Okay.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. With that, meeting adjourned.
you'll get that prepared for.
I will. I will revise the slides and get it up on, so Floyd can put it up on the website when it's all.
Sure.
And I will get the handout prepared.
I pulled the cord, that's why you lost me.
I'm not gonna touch a
You can just turn everything off. Camera, yeah, we're done.
I thought they were gonna start right away, I can print these.
No, this is it.
Yes, because that's going to have to be mailed out, so I'm going to have to do that.
Yeah, that's it.
All done.
We're all done. Told you, it was a real short meeting.
Okay,